through the town and then south, as if they were in flight. But they were not running away. They were about to embark on a dangerous and adventurous mission. Their courage was swelled through their companionship. They were friends as well as fellow plotters. With them rode William Eland, the castellan or overseer of the castle. It was his idea that had prompted them to ride out into the gloom. Some way out of the town, Montague gave the signal for them to stop. By now, Mortimer would have heard that they had fled, but he wouldn't pursue them until the morning, for there would be no moonlight tonight. They waited until the darkness was nearly complete, and then they turned back and led their horses slowly across to the hunting park by the river. At a thicket which Montague had chosen as their mustering point, they stopped and waited for those conspirators who had not been interrogated earlier, who had remained in the town, waiting for night to fall. It grew cold. No one came. Before long, they realized that they were on their own. Maybe their companions had been arrested, or maybe their courage had failed them. It was Montague's decision to go on. There were only about 20 men with him, and Mortimer had more than 200 in the castle. Their plan was a desperate one, to attack through a secret passage which William Eland knew. It led, he said, directly into the building in which the Queen was lodged. The king, or someone acting on his behalf, would unlock the door at the top. Then Montague and his men had to overpower the guards, arrest Mortimer, and silence those present before anyone could raise the alarm. Most of all, they had to stop Mortimer getting a message out of the castle. If he did that, they were all done for. But the men gathered with Montague were neither cowards nor weak. They were the very pick of the young English nobility, prepared to die rather than be shamed in honour or arms. Robert Ufford was there, William Clinton, the brothers Humphrey and William Bohun, Ralph Stafford, and John Neville of Hornby. There too were Thomas West, John Mollins, William Latimer, Robert Walkerfair, Maurice Berkeley, and Thomas Bradeston. If they succeeded, all their names would be celebrated for centuries. If they failed, they would probably be hanged as traitors the next day, their lands confiscated, their wives and children locked up. Montague decided that they could wait no longer, and they would have to go on alone. They tethered their horses at the thicket and followed Eland carefully along the marshy riverbank. After a while, they felt the great rock on which the castle was built. A little further on, they came to an opening. They entered the tunnel and began to ascend its long, steep slope. High above them, within the Queen's chamber, Mortimer, Queen Isabella, and the Bishop of Lincoln were discussing what to do about the intended coup. Mortimer had let the men go in order to organize the case against them carefully. They should be indicted for treason. That was his way of crushing opposition. Parliament would assemble in the hall of the castle on the following day. Those who had fled could be charged in their absence, soldiers pursuing them at the same time. There would be ample opportunity to seize them over the next few days, one by one if necessary. If they fled the country, well, so much the better. Pancio de Controne, the king's Italian physician, visited Edward in his room elsewhere in the castle. The king had retired early, claiming ill health to get away from Mortimer. Robert Wyville, Isabella's clerk, was also up and about. Probably either he or de Controne went down to the basement of the Queen's lodgings and checked the bolts on the door to the spiral staircase which led down to the secret passage. This secret door, which few of the important people would have known about, was the keyhole through which the castle could be unlocked. In the silence of the night, while Mortimer and Isabella talked with Bishop Berghurst in Isabella's chamber, the bolts were slid back, leaving the castle open to attack. About midnight, in the darkness, the door swung open, pushed by the hand of William Eland. If a torchlight was burning there, it would have revealed the determined faces of those following him, John Neville, William Montague, and the others. One by one, they came up the last few steps. They proceeded to climb the stairs, as quietly as possible, up into the tower of the Queen's chamber. At that moment, a door opened. Sir Hugh Turpington came out, looked along the corridor and saw them, their weapons ready. He had no sword with him, but he drew his own dagger and without thought for his own safety, yelled the warning, "Traitors! Down with the traitors!" Turpington hurled himself at Sir John Neville. Neville lifted his mace and, sidestepping, smashed it into the head of the royal steward, who fell in a pool of blood. But his final cry had alerted the others. Next came the chamber guards. Mortimer